Okay, guys, so the only contact I've made so far was Kansas, but you've seen the antenna kind of sitting on the ground out there. So it's about maybe 2 feet off the ground, is all that is. Just as a placeholder until I can get everything on the roof of the garage. All right, so the next step in this documentary here of the hex beam is going to be testing the rotor, making sure the rotor is set to north. I wouldn't know why you would saw rotors not set to north, but it also gives me a chance to check out the cables and make sure the cabling is going to work. Then after that, I have to put the ferrite beads onto the LMR 400, and that's recommended by the creator of the hex beam, Bill, with the NA4RR hex beam. So to put the ferrite beads on, and he obviously sells them, but you can buy them from anywhere, really. You can buy those things and put them on your Coax. But he pretty much knows. The only thing I didn't buy from him was the PL259 elbow. Okay, that little elbow I showed you in the box. I bought that obviously from DX Engineering, which they cost way more than what you think they should. Really, I mean, come on, it's a connector. How much could those cost? Maybe $5 a piece. But in doing this job, I'm trying to make sure I do it right the first time. That's why I went to some little bit more expense than what I really maybe needed to. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get the rotor box over here, bring a power cord over, and just connect the rotor up and make sure it is facing north. So when everything goes up on the roof and we put the antenna in, we can point the antenna north, bolt everything down, and then I think we should be okay at that point. I won't have to readjust it or do anything with it. That's my thought anyway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hook that all up. And I may or may not bring you back for that test. I mean, it's just checking the rotor, make sure it's going to be okay. And not too much really to do there. You plug the one end into the rotor, the other end goes into the controller box. You make sure it turns left and right, and you're good. All right, guys, so that is the next part of this journey of the hex beam with my ham radio journey here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, guys, after I said that about the rotor, I'm thinking maybe you've never had a rotor. Maybe you're kind of curious about how it works. So again, this is the Yaesu rotor. All right. When you could either buy the control cable, or they do send connectors. They send this connector and the other connector for the box. I'll show you that in a second. You can wire the connectors up to a Cat6 cable, a network cable, right? So there's 4 pairs, there's 8 wires in there, and you can actually create this and wire this all yourself. But I decided to buy the control cable. You can buy this stuff pre-made. That's what I did. So I bought 150 feet. This is the controller box here. I'll bring you back around here anyway to show you this. There's the controller box right there. Don't mind the beer can. Right there's the controller box. All right. So what we're going to do here now is all we have to do, there's no directions with this thing. So you plug this in, obviously, needs power, right? But the power to the rotor is sent through the control cable. So there's no power going up to the rotor. We're going to plug this in. Doesn't say anything on the front. Get the control cable here, and hopefully everything works. The first time, all you do is just plug it in the back. All right. Let's go around the other side here again. I'll take you guys around. Sorry about the aerial view, because I haven't even used this. So I had a rotor years ago. Anyhow, so if we go down here, all right, might we'll pull this way a little bit so you can see a little better. Drop this down a little bit more, like so. Okay, you turn the power on. You see there where it's kind of north. You go either left or right, because it'll go 360 degrees. Now, a word of warning from having a beam in the past. Don't keep going to the right or don't keep going to the left, because you'll twist your coax up. So if you heard the rotor, Okay, that's going to the right. That's going to the left. Again, I want to calibrate it to north. Can you see that going on there? Hopefully you can see that okay. Here, let's bring it closer so you can see it here. And the rotor's turning. Okay, and it stopped right there for some reason. So maybe this is not calibrated. I'm not sure. Let's go back around. Here's the rotor turning. I'm going to try to go back around the north and see if it'll do that. Because that might have been a stopping point. So we're going back around here to see if we go back to true north. So there may be a stopping point. So maybe you cannot go 360 degrees, which would be a good thing. I don't know why they had it stuck on northeast. It's kind of weird. Turns pretty fast. It's pretty fast rotor here. Nope, it will go the whole way. It's interesting. Okay. Can't get much more north than that right there. So there's your true north, okay? Once it's on there, the rotor, the brake is locked on the rotor, so it's not going anywhere. I would suggest if you're not turning your antennas, turn the power off. Don't leave the power on because you're just going to burn the light on anyway. It doesn't make any sense to do so. It doesn't look cool on your ham shack to have that turned on. But yeah, it's good now. It's north, which means when I bolt the antenna in there and I face it to the north, it doesn't really matter where it's sitting in there because this is going to turn around and take it wherever anyway. So we just know that the rotor is north, and there's really no front or back or side of the rotor because it's a 360 degree rotor. So as long as it's facing north here, we point the antenna north. We know if we turn the antenna west, it'll go to the west. If we turn the antenna to the east, it'll go to the east, and back and forth. Okay, that's the way it works. Once you're done, like I said, just shut it off. You don't need it on anymore. The needle's going to hold to where it is, so you know where you're pointing. And there you go. Pretty easy to figure out. I just wanted to make sure it's calibrated, so when I put the antenna up, I can point it to the north. I know it's north, and then I can go from there and test it. I'll test it some more, so I'll probably leave this box down here for now. I won't put this in the shack just yet. That way, when we get the antenna up, we will run some tests to make sure everything is configured properly, and then I'll move this to the shack. All right, guys, that's it. That's a very quick rotor test there. Okay, we're good to go. Okay, guys, so you can see I got the heat shrink going on here. This is 6 ferrite beads. Ferrite beads. Putting on here, such as this. You take them out of the casing, put them on here, and then he sends you the heat shrink so you can heat shrink it. Okay, good. All right, let me show you the outside progress. As I said, you've seen the antenna built on my little mast there. I did make like 3 contacts with that today. So Tom, N3WS, is down here helping me right now. He actually just ran home to get an impact wrench. But as you can see, the roof mount up there, which, thinking about it now, I probably should have just painted that all black. So we are in the process of getting that thing mounted up there. And we put it almost dead center in the middle of the garage roof. So there you see it up there. Yeah, it's a lot of work, guys. A lot of work. What we're doing in the inside here, and you guys can leave in the comments below what you think of this, because I hope it holds. I told my wife the roof won't get blown off. So what we're doing here is, if you can look up there where the lugs come through, well, that's just pressed wood. So we're putting 2x4s in there. Now, should I maybe put longer 2x4s? You know, should they be nailed to the frame? Probably been a good idea, right? But the way the bolts run long ways, there's nothing in there to nail to. So we're putting that in, hoping that's going to make a, you know, a big pressure gap between, you know, the pressed wood and that. So yeah, that's my goal. I think what I'll do with the other ones though, we have another one going in right here. If you can see the bolt right there, and the other bolt's right over there. I think what we do with those ones is just cut them longer to give it even more to pull up against. So I don't know if that's going to hold anything or not, but the only thing I can tell you about a hex beam is they tell me that they don't catch a lot of wind. So who knows, guys? Hate to call my insurance company and say, hey, my garage roof just got ripped off. That'd be the end of the hex beam for sure. My next step is probably one day to put up a tower or something and get rid of all this. Alright, we're going to keep working here. Like I said, Tom just ran home to get an impact wrench. I'm going to rent some. He brought his heat gun down here because I was using a hair dryer, which does not work for that right there. So I want to shrink that up there and get the coax ready to go. And that's just putting a choke right at the feed point is where you have to have your choke. So that's what that is. Okay guys, well again, thanks to Tom, N3WS. I couldn't have done this without him. I know that now. Sometimes you get in a project, guys, it's just too big for you. You know, and I didn't want my wife climbing the ladders. I didn't, you know, but Tom did the roof work. I did the inside the garage work. And I'm going to show you what we came up with here. Right now I'm still running the cables. I'll show you those. I just tested the rotor. I'll tell you about that. It's right here, guys. There it is. Hex beam is now up. I just tested the rotor. It's now pointing west. Funny thing about that rotor, I adjusted earlier. I think I got some video of that where I adjusted it to be north. Myself and Tom put the antenna on there, ran the bolt through it, and it was facing directly north. So I just turned it west. So you can see this is the front side right here. Actually where the colors are. See the color codes right there? Where the wires go back, that's the front side. So, yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to run the wires up. My wife just said, are you stopping for dinner? And I said, no, I'm not stopping now. I'm all right. So I have the Coax here, the LMR 400. I told Tom this is called Ultra Flex. He said, it's a little bit more flexible than what he has, so maybe, but it's still thick. It's coming across the yard here. So what it's going to do, I'm going to try my best and bring the step ladder out here. And for now, I got you in the sunlight, don't I? For now, I'm going to try to go over top of this top mount here, zip tie it there. It goes back to the roof over there, so it'll be hanging across here. So then I have to go up to that window where that air conditioner is. I know the sunlight's in there. And I only bought 100 feet of coax, so I'm hoping it'll reach. But I bought 150 foot of rotor wire. So you might say, Jack, why would you do that? Well, they didn't have 150 foot coax, so I was stuck buying 100. I can add to the coax. I can't add to the rotor wire. That's my thought process. So, but yeah, she's up there. And Tom brought his impact wrench. He was able to drill the lugs down through that roof. Let me show you how we changed that real quick here. Because I know I have it on the video, and I know I talked a little bit about, I talked to you a little bit about the board being too small. Tom agreed, so we made 2-foot boards. So if you see them up there, that way there's more pressure going all the way across there. See the center lugs right there? And Tom was up there actually leaning on it. It's actually going across 2 pieces now of the not pressure treated wood, you know what I mean, the composite board or whatever that is. We knew we couldn't just leave it through there because it would have ripped it right out. But this way it's taking up pressure across that whole span. And he was up there leaning on the pole and he said, it's not moving, it's solid. So, all right, guys, I'm sure I'll be doing review videos of the antenna. Once again, and I always got to look this up, and I'm sorry about that. This is the NA4RR hex beam. So I'm going to finish running these cables. But guys, thank you for watching this segment of the video. Like I said, I don't know how long these videos are. I got so much footage to go through. But thank you for watching. If you're not subscribed, why not? Smash that subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up. And go to Tango Oscar Mike. And here's his channel right here. His channel is also in the description. Go over there and actually, you know, also subscribe to Tom. I tell you what. So Tom's also looking into hex beam solutions, and I'm sure he's going to tell you more about that on his channel, so go check that out. Guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Whiskey 3 Charlie Tango W3CT. Your good old friend Jack, 73s. Hope to catch you on the airwaves. Bye for now, guys.